All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Akhil, Archana, Diwakar, Dr. Salila, Hemavati, Himanshu, Karthik, Misbah, Mahesh, Mukaddam, Nityanandam, Priyanka, Reshma, Rutik, Abida, Saloni, Sandhya, Shavari, Ume Salma, Himanshu again. Mayuri, Pradeep, and so many of you. Thank you. Good afternoon and thank you so much for joining us today. All these webinars happen every single Saturday at 2 p.m. And thank you so much for the trust that you have in me and all the speakers who share this wonderful knowledge from the corporate world directly to you. So thank you so much for joining me here today. We have with us Mr. Raghu. He happens to be my college senior, a wonderful friend of mine, and also a mentor in medical writing. Yeah. So Raghu comes with more than 16 years of experience in medical writing, clinical research, and labeling. He has proven track record in developing high quality clinical documents, non-clinical documents, and documents from various toxicological domains. He has few international publications to his credit. He has successfully managed projects in the field of clinical pharmacology, medical writing, clinical and medical affairs, regulatory affairs, clinical research, toxicology, labeling, and publication, mostly in scientific writing. At Freyer, he is currently the Associate Vice President and Head Regulatory Medical Writing at Zero Clinifarm Private Limited. So I welcome Raghu with this short note. Raghu, if you are here, please switch on the video so that we all can see you. And thank you, Raghu. Thank you so much. Yes. So participants, I hope all of you can see both of us and also heard me introducing Raghu, but that introduction was only for formality. I know Raghu for the last 22 years, more than now 23rd year running, right? So 23 years it has been association with Raghu, and he's a wonderful human being and a proud pharmacist. So welcome Raghu for today's session, and this session is Raghu's version 2 of medical writing, A to Z of medical writing. Almost 1.5 years back, he had spoken on the same topic. And of course, a lot of things have changed in medical writing. So Raghu would help us understand what are those changes that has happened and help us understand an overview of medical writing. He'll also help us understand the concerns and answer some of the concerns that we have in medical writing. So please stay tuned till the end of the session and learn from Raghu. And Raghu, welcome. Welcome to this session. You may unmute, you may talk. Please share your story, your journey, how you started in medical writing, how you went through, and now you have, gained this position in medical writing, like heading the whole team and division, right? Yes, Raghu, the stage is all yours.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. I think it's really a privilege to be part of this session. And see, Manoj and myself, as he suggested, as he mentioned, that we are classmates, and we started. In Government College of Pharmacy. We have been studying my degree and as well as master degree there. So that has been the very good association. Very good team we were working through, and then. Those days there were no such facilities like 20 years back. It was literally we were dependent on library books rather Google or something like that. Those are the days when medical writing was very grown from that days. It was under inception time when we have been doing our masters or something like that. Since then we have been associated with and we have continued association, and I would like to say thank you to Manoj because it's not easy to organize such kind of sessions. And then I'm really part of one such session, and wherein he has been coordinating with so many SMEs or experts under the different domains in this particularly medical and pharmaceutical field, wherein you have been getting the fruitful messages and their experiences, and then guidances, suggestions to all of your requirements, and also it gives you a trigger that which particular field will help you and which is customized for you, so that understanding also you would get before you join the professional field. But wherein such kind of sessions were not there for us, and we have been sometimes by chance would have been gone to a particular domain and we tried. It's like a trial and error kind of thing, and then wherein if it suits, like we continue, if it doesn't suit, then we choose for another thing. So that way it was a story that time. But now I think it is what I can say, world has been very formalized, and there is lot of knowledge available in front of you, and there are so many speakers, there are so many experts and SMEs available for you to connect and then get insights from them, decide your professional path and decide your career goal, and then join to that particular job where, or I should not say job becomes very, normal terminology,
Yeah.
and professional work, what you say, like, that way, I think you would be able to select the suitable one, and then you can shine there definitely, because you already have the due diligence, whether it suits me or not, whether I will be interested to do this kind of job or not. And I mean, much better than anyone. We were not aware of all these things, and we were just, what you can say, understand theoretical aspects or practical aspects to some extent during our college days, and then get into the corporate, whichever is available, or by chance, like, I got this job, I'm going it, I don't know what is it. So when I go, and or when anyone goes, then only they come to know such kind of the situation it was. But I think now it's really great opportunities for all of you to understand and then take up what you want. So that way, I'm trying to help in a very little way. That, as I have been, I mean, working under the umbrella of medical writing since long time. And then Manoj discussed with me, can you just take up one session for our junior or budding pharmacist? So that way, I thought of, giving my part. And Manoj, thank you so much for arranging this and making it happen. I really appreciate your patience. And then not only like just connecting with me and then Raghu, you prepare whatever you want and then come. It is not like that. Always you have been following up, and then even a small things, you could help us many a times, like even preparing the slides or cleaning up the slides or making it beautified, and also add your thoughts wherever required. And really, it's a good association, and I think noble contribution. I really appreciate that. And then, although it is a second session or third session, although it is a second session for medical writing, but in between we had spoken about plagiarism as well. This is a third session since 1.5 years. I think every 6 months we have been doing almost one session. It's great. It's great. I mean, I think I'm really happy that team or people are getting some suggestions, and then we also know what is their thought process on each, and because it is almost 20 years difference, means it's a generation gap. In that way, we also understand how our new generation, new set of pharmacists, how they are thinking on each field. That also we will get to know from these kind of sessions. Really, it's a mutual benefit, mutual learnings, and that way I think really appreciate that. So with this note, I would like to start the session, and then I'll just take you through my story as well. And after that, I mean, what is medical writing? Where are we now? What are we doing? What are the new trends? So all those things I talk about a little bit. Maybe 1 hour, 1.5 hour session would not enough to talk about medical writing or any other concept, but I'll try to cover up much better way, or the best way possible on this aspect. And always, you can ask questions. Maybe you can park questions at the end. So, but we will definitely able to answer the questions. That way, I think we are looking for a fruitful discussion so that it is mutually benefited. So, is that okay with you all?
Perfect. Yes, definitely, Raghu. That is perfectly fine. And participants, just give us a thumbs up in the chat box, or maybe you can use emoticons or emojis on Zoom as well to give Raghu a wonderful thumbs up. So thank you. You see a lot of thumbs up coming up there. 4 of them, they've already started and that started putting in the chat box. So thank you so much, Raghu, for all you do for the profession and help all these medical writers on every 6 months we have been doing it. Absolutely right. Almost every 6 months we have been doing it. This is the third session you are doing. And
Yep.
on medical writing and scientific writing, we have more than 15 sessions we have done from different speakers from the industry. So that is something a wonderful contribution from the industry as well. So thank you, Raghu. Please continue with the slides, and
Yep.
participants make a note and ask the questions at the end. Thank you. Dharampal, welcome to the session. He's joined.
Hey, hi, Dharampal. Good
Hi,
afternoon.
good to see you.
You are on mute, Dharampal. Yeah.
Dharampal is on mute. Just 1 second. 1 second, I'll give him an option to ask to unmute. Yes. Give it a try now. Yes.
Hi, Manoj. Hi, Raghuram.
Hi.
Very good afternoon. Hi,
Good
everybody.
afternoon.
Okay, that's great. Great to have you here in this session.
Thank you.
So I'll try covering up all the topics for the new pharmacists to the best possible. and then see if there are any questions which we can answer them. So first, let me make it full screen, and after that, please confirm that whether you could able to see my screen.
Yes, perfect.
Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you. So this is A to Z of medical writing 2.0. We are mentioning as 2.0 because on the same topic we have discussed in the past. Hence, we have made it as 2.0. And about me, it's my name and my qualifications have been provided, even the contact details. So whenever you have any questions or anything, any help required, and I will be happy to help in the best possible way. So this is about my story. I call it as a self story. So I started my MW journey as a chance almost 16 years back, and so it was not easy. I mean, like one of the friend and lifetime friend, I should say, Dharampal Sharaf is the one who referred me to this job. And then that is what I say as a chance. I was never thinking of joining a medical writer that time, but Dharampal is the one who asked me, like, there is a position and would you like to join. So then that was the chance given to me, and then that opportunity I just took it up, and then we, myself and Dharampal, worked or started our career together. So as a budding writer at that time, received and accepted lots of opportunities, and that opportunities do not come without challenges. Definitely the challenges, and utilized all these opportunities and faced the challenges. And this was possible only with the courage and as well as like the intent of moving ahead in the ladder. So with that, I myself made myself strong and then faced all the challenges. Although there were what you can say, troughs and peaks in the journey, there was we cannot say like each journey is very successful, very these things, like every time we have I both positives and negatives in the journey, and then went ahead with confidence. Look, whenever you have troughs and peaks, like it is always better, you need to be going ahead with what's taking you, and then you put your efforts, and that way like went ahead with the confidence. So then during this journey, the major boosters were like family, and as well as friends, colleagues, managers, management of the companies where I worked. All those things made, boosted my confidence, and then I started, working along the journey. And then when I started, I joined as a trainee, and today I stand with a highly responsible position for an organization, that is AVP or head of medical writing. So that's how the story started, and all these aspects are very important. Every knowledgeable person, every or any technical or suitable person will not get all the opportunities, but it is my chance that, and it's with the God's grace, I'm standing at this position today. But it is an hard-earned this thing. But however, always it is the efforts will speak, and then efforts will definitely give you fruitful situation. So only thing what I was looking at when I had my journey, right, I had a plan, I had a vision, courage, and support to grow professionally and technically as well. Today, I should say, rather than AVP or head or something like that, as a mentor for the writers, I would suggest one thing for the team who are here: take up the challenges and prove yourself. So this is very important. Any challenge, you take it up and then prove yourself. That itself give you more fruitful situation. And be proactive, show interest in what you are doing, and keep doing the good job. These are the pointers. If you keep it in your mind, and with this vision, anyone can able to achieve something which is in the highest in that particular field. So with this note, let me start on the medical writing related aspects. So first and foremost, we would know what is medical writing. So there are several definitions available. If you Google it, you do not even think that like there are numerous definitions. I like this particular definition as called as concept of 5C. Medical writing is communicating complex scientific data in clear, concise, credible, complete, and compelling manner. So that we call it as concept of 5C. And it is also defined as essential and vital activity required at every stage of drug development. You mean that drug development has multiple stages, drug discovery, preclinical development, clinical development, post-marketing surveillance, and interactions with agency, followed by NDA, IND application. So there are so many steps which are involved before the drug comes to the market. So in that way, it's an essential and vital activity. Medical writing is required at every step. See, for example, any activity you have performed, you have to write it and give it to the regulatory agency or regulators to get that approval to the next step. So in that way, it's an essential and vital activity, we say. And then it is also defined as it's a science and art. So why it is called as science and art? Because you need anyone who is under this medical writing field should understand medical or pharmaceutical concepts, sciences. So that is the reason it is called science. It is an art because you need aptitude of writing. So if you have an aptitude of writing, then only you will be a good medical writer and you will be able to shine in this particular field. If you are a scientific guy, technical guy, but you don't know writing, it is really not possible to shine in this field. Or if you have an aptitude to write and you don't have a science, then also it is difficult. So that is why it is called both science and an art. So we all know that there is an American Association of American Association of Medical Writers. So in that is also called as AMWA. So wherein it defines medical writing as it involves the development and production of print or digital documents that deal scientifically with medicine or healthcare. So this way they have their own definition. That is why it's mostly well recognized association. Hence I thought of giving the definition of medical writing based on AMWA. And then medical writing profession, if you talk about this profession, it's a communication of medical, scientific and health information to varied audience. So this is very important statement, because always for a medical writer, there is no single audience. See, for example, when you are writing protocol, so who is the audience for us? The investigator who is conducting the study, or who is a investigator for the study. So you are telling the protocol, in this protocol, what all things to be done and what way it is to be done, when it is to be done, how it is to be done. So those things have been discussed in protocol, and it will be a guidance document for an investigator. So when you are writing, once the protocol is done, then you have to write an ICF, like informed consent form. So the informed consent form, who is the audience? The participant who is getting enrolled into the study. So then the language is different. If you say the same technical knowledge or technical jargon, what you are saying it to investigator, if you say the same thing, the participant will not understand. So then you have to make it very layman terminology, and then make it simple words, and then explain him in the way it is required to the participant who is not having any technical knowledge. So that is, and the audience is different. When the audience is different, then your writing style is different, writing complexity is different, the pattern is different. So that is the reason you have to adapt yourself. And then if you go for writing next step, like CSR, who is the audience for CSR? Regulatory agency. Then when you are writing to regulatory agency, you have to say the whole story, like we have planned like this, but this is what conducted, this is what happened, these many were deviations, what is the result, whether we met the results or not. All those things we talk about in the CSR, like it is a regulatory agency. And that way, many a times when you are writing something, right, there is a specific audience or the objective of that particular document, so that you have to adapt as a writer for such kind of objectives. So that is the reason this statement is very important. Varied audience is nothing but varied audience, right? So what are the different types of documents generally what we write in the medical writing part? There are clinical writing documents, non-clinical writing documents, regulatory writing documents, safety writing documents, medical marketing, we say, scientific writing, medical education, there is, and others. These others are nowadays recently they have come up, and then they are still in the developmental stage or evolving stage. So first, let us understand what is clinical writing, what does it include? As I have already taken through some examples like protocols, CSRs and all. So in clinical writing, we have all the documents which are developed before, during and after the conduct of clinical trials. So, for example, before the clinical trial, what do you say? Protocols, ICF will be developed. And after the clinical trial, we will be developing CSRs. And in between, we are also developing CRFs, ICFs, or whatever. That is what we have listed here. So protocol, CSRs, CSR shells, we say, what are the different sections which do not, require all the study should be completed. So those sections will be freeze, those we call it as CSR shells. Top line summaries, we say, and then investigator brochures, informed consent form, case report forms. So like this, there are several documents that we can develop under the heading of clinical writing. When it comes to regulatory writing, so regulatory writing is, these are the documents, those are generally considered as an integrated documents that would be submitted to regulatory agency as a part of our dossier. So that could be clinical overview, clinical summary, justification documents, briefing documents. For example, you have a question, so you have to ask that question to FDA or any EMA. So that time what you would do is, you cannot just totally ask a question in the oral. So then you have to show them like what is the background and then what is the question. That is nothing but we call it as briefing documents, integrated summary of efficacy, integrated summary of safety. So that way these all documents comes under the regulatory writing domain. And then comes to non-clinical writing. This is wherein some niche kind of technique, and who are really having an idea on preclinical aspects, preclinical trials, who can write non-clinical writing part, specifically veterinarians or whoever pharmacologists who have done their pharmacology as a master. So they definitely can write here. So NCO, we say non-clinical overview, non-clinical summaries, exposure calculations, protocols, and study reports for non-clinical studies. This way, non-clinical writing is one of the things. And then safety writing. Safety writing is nothing but, in general, the safety writing will be a part after the approval of the drug. Few documents can be written even before that. Example is DSUR, developmental safety update report, would be written during the development process, but rest all, or maybe RMP also, you can consider risk management plan, would be part of the dossier before the approval. But other things are, all the updates or safety update reports generally part of the post-marketing time, whenever you got an approval from the agency, and then you start writing 6 months, 3 months, 1 year, what is the safety updates related to that particular product when that product is exposed to the real world scenario. So that kind of things we'll write in the safety perspective. And these are sometimes country specific. PSURs European requirement, PBRR European requirement, RMPs European requirement, SARs like safety update reports, maybe of any country, like CASRs like Canadian Annual Summary Report. So it is specific for Canada, PADRs specific for US. So like that, there are some country specific, region specific documents also there as a part of safety writing. Coming to medical marketing, medical marketing is one like wherein you are communicating the advantages and the benefits of your drug when compared to the other drugs available in the market. So to a prescriber, you are saying that my drug is comparative or superior, or how and what way it is superior. So that kind of documents generally, medical marketing kind of profile. So for example, LBLs, like we say leave behind literatures, when we are taking a leave behind literature with a physician and we explain them that this is how our drug acts, this is how our drug is superior to the existing one, and this is how our drug is specific to a particular set of population within the disease. Whether it is, for example, we say, right, diabetes mellitus, we say whether it is diabetes, all drugs may not be suitable for, both the classes of diabetes mellitus. If DM1, diabetes mellitus type 1, so definitely should be treated with an insulin, and type 2 is definitely treated with a oral hypoglycemic agents or something like that. So in that case, like it's an example, but specific drugs, how, like it help in specific kind of diseases and specific set of population, that has to be explained in these kind of brochures and LBLs, scientific and health magazines. We can use different set of documents like posters, newsletters, training manuals, job aids, web content, question and answer books, anything. And disease and drug monographs, these all come under the umbrella of medical marketing. Then comes with your scientific writing. Scientific writing means, like we all know that we are doing so many researches. Like it could be preclinical research, academic research, or the corporate research, or any other new drug entity research. All these things, it is very important to disseminate the data. Disseminate data means you have to communicate this data or outputs of the studies to the overall public. And there are scientific community and there is non-scientific community. So it is required to communicate everybody. For example, you see, right, recently we had a pandemic situation where COVID, kind of situation has come. So the dissemination of data, there are so many vaccine trials that has happened, for the COVID vaccine. Then we have to keep updating the population, the scientific community and as well as non-scientific community in that situation. Dissemination of data means the output of the study results, showing it to the public or communicating it to the public, making the public awareness with the results is very important. So in such situation, we call it as a scientific writing, wherein So the manuscript will be written like, the study, like, we call it as IMRAD, right? Introduction, methods, and then results, conclusions, all those things. So we would be writing those manuscripts in such particular pattern, and then for the journal, for a particular journal, and journal publishes that article. After scrutinizing that this data is valid and the results are valid, and then it will be disseminated to the scientific community, and then further it will be re-emphasized in the form it is required for the layman perspective. So that way, manuscripts, abstracts, synopses, editorials, original articles or review articles, short papers, communications, personal views, case reports, like the different varieties of documents can be written under the umbrella of scientific writing. But overall information, a message is to give an dissemination of the study results. So dissemination of the output of the studies conducted. That is about scientific writing. Nowadays, many companies offers this kind of job. Like, they are also called as publication writer. So publication writer, manuscript writer, scientific writer. So all these things, different terminologies used for that. And then medical education, that there are multiple textbooks which we are getting for our educational or academic related time. So this is also one of the writing. So medical education, like writing a textbook, is one of the medical writing part. CME documents, like it is a continued medical education documents, programs, we call CME programs, e-learning modules. There are so many e-learning models. Means if you join some diplomas, like, clinical research diploma, medical writing diploma, so that e-learning models are very important. Patient education materials. So for example, for a particular disease, a particular drug, so some patients should have an awareness when to take the vaccines, who is not eligible for the vaccines. All those things have to be communicated to the overall community. So those things also come under medical education part. And then others, like recently we have got some important medical writing related activities. In some of them, there is no writing part involved actually. Maybe there is a concising part, and then making it adaptable. The content is adaptable by using source documents. So such kind of documents also are available nowadays. That is called as RWE, real world evidence studies, you can say, health economic outcome research, you can say, and then transparency related documents, and then redaction related documents. So these are the new and other kind of documents, different type of medical writing activities that also then and offered by many other companies. Coming to prerequisites of medical writer, what medical writer should, what are the qualities required to become a medical writer? So it is very simple. Familiarity with medical concepts and terminology. Most of us, most of technical guys will be having a familiarity with medical concepts and terminology. So, and I think with this mindset, we should go as a medical writer. You should know medical concept. You should understand little depth on the terminologies, and then academic qualification, that is minimum requirement. That medicine or a pharmacy or biomedical sciences, all those things will be most preferable academic qualifications. Ability to write. So it's not that the concept, that is not end of the story, or that is that you become eligible to become a medical writer. No, you need to have an ability to write. You need to have an ability to communicate the knowledge what you have to the next person. So that is what we call it as ability to write. Adaptability to communicate scientific information to the target audience. As I already told, always the audience will not be same. So audience are different for different type of documents. Then that adaptability to change over, what you can say, the changeover of that concept is you need to be having that kind of quality, and some degree of command over language. That major language we use for communication of scientific information is English. So you should have some degree of command. I think instead of saying some degree, good command on language will definitely help as a good medical writer. Ability to express and present information clearly and succinctly. So for example, if you have just writing paragraphs, pages, it is not going to, people are not able to read so much. So you should know how to present the information to make it easy for the reader. So that way also you need to think, make the appealing kind of document, and the document is reader friendly. So those are all things you need to consider when you are when you are opting for medical writing profession. I mean, these are very few what I've listed, but there are few more capabilities required or prerequisites required for a good medical writer. So, but these are very important, and which I would like to list and then put it across to you. Then what are the qualifications preferred? Although we have discussed like pharmacy, medicine, or any other biomedical. For example, if you go for a pharmacy, you know that B Pharm, M Pharm, Pharm D, PhD. When all levels of the educational qualifications have been considered accordingly, you will be given a role. Okay, so that it is not that only I have to get PhD and then only I will become a medical writer. It is not like that. It is always depends upon how well you know the knowledge and how well you are aware of the concept, how well you write. Those things matters, and at the same time, higher education will definitely have some credit, but definitely, at your level, better to have a knowledge and as well as writing ability, and along with the qualification that helps you grow but much better. And then medicine means like MBBS or MD. Those qualified people also be eligible for this biomedical sciences, be it biochemistry, microbiology, basic sciences, and veterinary people, non-clinical documents development, non-clinical summaries and all. Veterinary people can understand better and then they develop. And others maybe Master of Sciences, and sometimes we say BE biotechnology. So those kind of people also who can understand the concept then definitely become a medical writer. So what are the different skills required for to become a medical writer, or how does it help? So that way I have told you right initially, there are few only I have listed here, but we can understand what are the different skills. You can see in the middle, domain knowledge, that is most important thing as a medical writer. And then you can see if you come from the purple one, research skills, you should have analytical skills, ethical skills, personal skills, and then IT skills, language skills. All these kind of different type of skills are required to become a good medical writer. Anybody can become medical writer, but to become a good medical writer or impactful writer, so then definitely you require all these aspects. So let us understand few things under each category so that you will know what is it language skills, what is the research skills and all. So, and I've also, given some images for each and every skills. Maybe that image also will talk about something. We'll see how it will helpful for you to understand these skills. See, for example, domain knowledge. So you need to know medical, scientific knowledge, and as well as you need to know about therapeutic expertise. Therapeutic area expertise means right, different therapeutic areas like oncology is one therapeutic area. And then antibacterial drugs, like that is one therapeutic area. Gastrointestinal drug is one of the therapeutic area. And then CNS drugs is one of the therapeutic area. Cardiovascular drugs is so something like that. A specialized type of disease, a specialized type of drugs. So that kind of understanding. See, everybody cannot become expert in all therapeutic areas. So you develop more niche, like I'm expert in cardiovascular disease as a therapeutic area. So then maybe you would get that kind of documents more, and you would start writing those documents very efficiently. So that kind of therapeutic area expertise is also required. For example, it's like I'm after B Pharm, we would go to M Pharm, right? In M Pharm, where you will not do M Pharm in all the subjects, you will be doing it in one particular subject. Like either you do it in pharmacology, either you do it in pharmaceutics, something like that. As and when you grow, like in PhD, you will not be able to do PhD in pharmacology, overall pharmacology, but you will take up some particular domain, right? Your research is based on either central nervous system or cardiovascular system or urinary system or any other particular system, so that you become, as you grow, as you study higher studies, you become more specialized. So then I think that kind of expertise will help you to develop good level of good quality documents for that particular therapeutic area. Hence that is very helpful. Then if you should know pharmacology, what is pharmacology, and then you should know what is the drug development process, what is efficacy, what is safety. These are the important things that happens during the drug development. Then definitely you need to know. So it is not pharmacology means I know the definition of pharmacology. That is not enough. You should know what is pharmacokinetics, what is pharmacodynamics, how does pharmacology and pharmacodynamics are interrelated, and what happens when that multiple drugs are given, how our biological system developed. So what the drug does to the body, what the body does to the drug. All these things we should be very thorough with basic knowledge, so that helps you to and go to the next level. And then regulatory guidelines and requirements. Each and every regulatory agency have their own guidelines, their own requirements. although there is a common technical document, although there is a understanding that like similar kind of information should be given to different countries, but still they have their own guidelines, their own suggestions to some extent. So you need to get those regulatory guidelines understood and then updated as required. So that is also a domain knowledge perspective. And statistical expertise. See, when you are comparing drug A and drug B, you will compare with the statistics. If you are not understanding the statistical parameters, then you will definitely not able to write or understand the data what you are presented. That's the reason statistics expertise is really required. So domain knowledge is not just understanding pharmacology. So it is also certain allied sciences where statistics comes, one of the important allied sciences that needs to be understood to be become a good medical writer. Then medical terminologies. It is terminologies definitely required. You, although you are a therapeutic area expertise in one particular therapeutic area, but you need to have a different understanding of medical terminology. You should know what is the drug disease related knowledge. For example, you are working on Parkinson's disease. So now you are working on Parkinson's disease and then you are doing some research, but you don't know what are the drugs available. Already therapies available for Parkinson's disease. That definitely never helps you. So that is the reason you should know about the drugs available for that particular disease. You should also know about what are the different mechanisms that lead to this particular Parkinson's disease. What are the pathways that are available for leading, or how our drug acts in combating the Parkinson. All those things you should understand. Then you will be able to communicate right better. So this is about domain knowledge. And then when it goes to the language skills, there are 4 steps in any particular language learning utterance, right? So for example, first we start listening, and then next we start speaking, like next step is speaking, next step is reading, then the last step what we say is writing. Any language when we are learning, right, these are the 4 steps. We listen, we speak, we read, we write. Listen in the sense, what here is listen, every time we can listen, but we need to understand, right? Listening is not just listening. So if I don't know particular knowledge language, and if I listen it's not going to come to me, right? Listen in the sense here we are listening and understanding and interpreting that language. That is the first step of what you can say learning of the language. And then speaking, okay, we need to speak that language, and after that read that language and then write. So the 4th step is writing. Then you understand what is the difficulty of medical writing. Now you need to have understanding all these 3 steps, and then you are coming to the writing stage. So that is why language skills are very, very important when you are communicating. Maybe it is related to grammar, spelling, punctuation, conveying message in conciseness, ability to adapt yourself, writing style based on the audiences, sentence structure, how well you have done the sentence structure. You cannot write a sentence with 4 lines because it will be too difficult to interpret by the reader. So that way it should be easy, and then the sentence structure is in such a that each sentence are linked, and each paragraph are linked, each page are linked, and each sections are linked. This way, you need to give that link to the complete document. Even sometimes, technical document goes 80, 100, 200 pages. So, but each sections, each pages, each paragraphs, each lines, each sentences, each words are connected. Then only that becomes a good writing. So that way, sentence structure you should know. Storytelling, mainly, storytelling in the sense you should know what is the objective of this document, who is my audience, how to tell them whole story of this particular document. So, or this particular trial. So that is what, if you learn all these language skills, then you will become a good writer. So then research skill. Research is a small concept. We say research, but it is involving several research activity, during the research activity and post-research activity. There are so many things you need to know. So just I'm giving you a small example. With that, I'm giving 4 or 5 lines here, but it is never-ending story. And it has so many other aspects, but I'm just talking about a literature search and review. You need to know how to research. I mean, when somebody is asking you that what is the concept you're working on research, you need to know what are the already, I mean, at this particular stage, what all the different activities done for this particular concept, and how much is done, and how much we need to do, what is at this stage, what is available. So that way we need to do some literature search and get the review done, and after that you will understand that, oh, this is the gap in this particular research, I can work on this. So that's how you need to have a skill set, and then up to date with current research data. You need to know what is the current situation for this particular disease, this particular drug, or this particular concept, and how and where to find data. You should know where is the source documents. I mean, how will I write this particular document? What are the source documents? Where are they available? Those things you should know. And then verifying that information, what is available, whether it is suitable for dissemination or not. You have so much of data available with you, how to utilize that. You need to know that research skill set, what is important for me and how I will extract that particular part of the data from the overall knowledge, overall ocean. Like, you need to take only required things. So those things are called as research skills. Okay, those are also important for you to understand. Then analytical skills. This is most important thing. Now you have a domain knowledge, you know how to write it, you have research skills. Now, you have language skills, but you need to know analytical skills. So interpretation of the scientific data and reusing it. So, it's not easy to understand that technical information easily, right? You have to understand how it is interpreted. What are the statistical parameters, what we have defined, what is our research question, and what is happening now. So that way you need to know interpretation of the data. And then I already told statistics, understanding statistics of interpretation, presentation of data. In analytical skills, the presentation, like visual appeal. For example, instead of giving 10 paragraphs, I'm just preparing one small table and telling them in a comparative manner so that the reader can understand easily. Or I'm giving one image and that image talks about 100 pages. So, or that image talks about 10 sentences. So that is how you have to prepare visual appeal of the information. Presentation of data in a way which is easy to understand. Maybe, as I already told you, table, graphical image, or a flow chart, or a steps. So that way you need to analyze, you need to understand that. That is the analytical skills you have to understand. And attention to details. It is very important. So attention to details is nothing but, everywhere, whatever you are doing, right? So it should be consistent, and as well as a small thing has been taken care. Even a small thing has been taken care. See, for example, so when you are preparing some food, right, for eating, so there are so many ingredients we added. Okay, it may start from water. It may start from water to n number of things, right? So even a small thing like a salt, we are adding salt in a little quantity, right? So that is also very important for any food preparation. In the same way, now when you are doing a bigger activity, writing a document, attention to detail is very important. See, salt is less, oral taste is not there, salt is more, you cannot eat that. So that is the small, like, activity, adding a salt, but it is very important. So that way, so many things are there in the document. Attention to details is very important, and you need to be attentive to each even minor thing, minute thing you need to consider. So then comes to ethical principles. These are the ethical skills, very important for any medical writer. You need to present only the facts. That is important. Facts are communicated. You are responsible, you are accountable, and you are maintaining the integrity of the data. You are maintaining confidentiality of the data, so that it is not disseminated, or it is not given to anybody who is not entitled to have it. So, and you should know what are the legal requirements of this data, and you should know what is the plagiarism perspective, and you should not copy information from anybody else. You should not copy information from any other document, any other source, without giving credit to the original author. So all these things, like, these all comes under ethics, ethical skills. You should know what I'm doing is ethical or not, and you should follow only ethics. So, if you see right hand side and upper side, there is a small picture. It talks about all important terminology: integrity, value, honor, choice, conscience, responsibility, right thing to do, honesty, principle. So, moral, all these things. Ethics is nothing but all this. I'm not giving you 10 sentences here. I'm giving you should be ethical when you are doing this activity. These are all things which you have to follow. Those are nothing but ethical skills. You should have it. And no, somebody has told me I have to write like this, I'm writing. No, that's not correct. You should present only the facts. That is nothing but, mostly in one sentence, I can say ethics. Then managerial skills or personal skills. When you are doing this medical writing activity, you are not just alone and then you start writing it, because it is not possible to write one person everything. there are inputs, there are, what you can say, the data coming from several sources. You need to coordinate with all those team members, and then you should know how to coordinate with them and how to do teamwork. You should gel with the team. Okay, there may be one person, one expert from the medical, there will be one expert from statistics, there is a one expert from study conduct like investigator, there's one expert from medical monitor, there's one expert from legal, one expert from regulatory. All those people will be helping you in putting up the information in a required way, so that you need to know how to manage them, how to coordinate with them, and how to do a teamwork with them. So cross-functional team meeting, this is what I was telling. So you have, based on the inputs from all of them, you have written something. You need to communicate this to them based on these inputs. Has been drafted and this makes sense. How are you feeling? Then they will be reviewing it and they will be giving their thought process and how to convince them on the factual information. All those things you need to understand. And the personal skills, as and when it comes like the interest in writing activity. The first thing is you need to have that interest. I will be a good writer and I would like to do this job. So that interest itself makes you much more better writer. And focus. You need to focus on your work, what you are doing it, and you need to have patience, because when multiple people are giving comments on your document, you might need to work with patience with everybody. So that is very important. And logical thinking. You need to have this particular concept, or skill set. Sometimes you need to think logically. How does it work? Or you might not have a practical experience, but you need to think on that logically and then correlate things in the logical conceptualization, so that you will be able to achieve that. Then last, but it is very important nowadays, like IT skill sets. So everything earlier, it was literature was written in the by hands, by this thing, by pen, by earlier they were written in the leaves or something like that. But now what has happened, we are writing everything in laptops, and even that is also going to be simplified, and you have tools to work on. You have tools, and if you are speaking, then the notes can be taken through what you can say, the tool. So there are so many things, and the document what you can say, formatting can be done by a tool. Documents consistency can be checked by a tool. So it is all become an important for us to understand the tool, okay, and then understand how to utilize that, how efficiently we deliver the documents. Those all things becomes mandatory as you grow, because it's an IT era. And then now you can see artificial intelligence. So like one section, if you write, if there is any such kind of information should be repeated in another section of the document, that itself copied directly. So it's like automation kind of thing. So there are so many things happening under medical writing field. Also, you need to know what are the current developments, like what are the different tools required for writing this activity, whether we are trained on those tools, and how technically fit to utilize those tools, those things, and whether those tools are validated or not to give the correct output, and implementation of those tools in the day-to-day activities. Those things we have to learn. For example, we say now approval of the document means we are sending it through email, or you can take a printout and give it to somebody, you review it. If you are okay, you approve it. Nowadays, we are not doing that. We are doing all the approvals in the document management system. So again, for in a student, if I say document management system, it will be a very complex one. What is this document management system? So when you are signing a hard copy that I agreed and I approved this document, you have to keep the document somewhere and then protect it. So, but nowadays, what is happening? So, and nowadays, it is document management system means like you are sending your document through some system wherein the other person who is entitled to review and approve it, they will review, approve it in the document management system. So that record is still there lifelong. You do not need to create anything. That happens in the system itself. So something like that, there are several tool mechanisms. IT skills have been developed so much in such a way that you do not need to do manually for a lot of things. So you could have seen e-signatures, right? Nowadays, like nobody signs up, and this pandemic has made it, nobody is signing physically. Electing signature is not required. Digital signature, e-signatures are helping out. How to do that e-signature, and e-signature also, carries the date when you have signed, and then time when you have signed, and who has signed. Everybody cannot sign with your account. So that way, no forgery is possible. So this all becomes very, very important as a medical writer when you have talk about an IT skill. Then those were the different skill set which are required for medical writer. And what are the different companies who can hire medical writers? Like pharmaceutical companies can hire, contract research organizations can hire medical writer, regulatory service providers companies, medical communication companies, publishing companies, KPOs we say, knowledge process outsourcing companies, medical or scientific societies, associations, hospitals, academic institutions, all these kind of organizations can hire medical writer. So medical writer, we say, right, what is this particular domain and how is it doing? So medical writer domain is always in demand. Recently, the demand has been increased a lot. If you see that medical writing is an esteemed profession, in my view, definitely it's an esteemed profession because we always keep the knowledge updated to the healthcare professionals, because many of the studies which are conducted, the protocols we are writing, CSRs we are writing, outputs we are writing, these all gives a lot of knowledge to the professionals, healthcare professionals. And then, for example, one new drug is approved. So while the new drug is approved, there are so many documents which we have developed as a medical writer. And because of that reason, the drug has got approval because of the data which we have created, right? And that particular approval will be helping the professional, means doctor, nurse, or whoever, pharmacist, to understand the drug has been approved for this particular disease, and the doctor starts prescribing it based on the suitability, and then it is dispensed and taken to the next end user. So that way it is an esteemed profession. Means we are helping human community to get new drugs for the diseases, to get the suitable drugs for the diseases. This is nothing but we are helping in the esteemed profession. That's why I'm saying, treatment options and all we are talking about. So we definitely been esteemed and noble profession. And then medical writing is growing, rewarding. It's also a lucrative job, and it's a great career, we can say, when you are an optimum person, when you are an opt for medical writing. It's definitely growing and rewarding. I will tell you some figures later. You will understand what is that rewarding and growing. Medical writing is a dynamic career, because dynamic in the sense something is dynamic means it is always constantly changing in a positive sense, I'm saying. So this way, your knowledge is constantly upgrading. That is nothing but it's a dynamic career. You have to keep yourself up to date with the knowledge, otherwise you will be lost. So that is nothing but dynamic career. And medical writing is extremely positive. It's a for noble cause, for patient safety. You can see there is some concept called as orphan drug designation, we say, or orphan disease, we say. Orphan disease means this is a disease, there is no drug available for it. But once the drug is developed for such kind of drug, and even those small set of population in the world also gets medicine. So that way medical writing is also helping in that particular thing. It's a noble cause. We are always worried about patient safety. We are always helping to maintain the patient safety. So that is the reason, extremely positive, I say. And it is definitely one negative thing when there are 4 or 5 positive things, like, it's a tiresome job. It's not easy job. It's a stressful one. It's boring sometimes. We are doing the same activity, writing, but it's still, encouraging. It's lucrative. It's keeping ourselves dynamic, esteemed profession. We are working on patient safety. Based on that, this one negative thing can be nullified. So now, if you see, medical writing career, like how it helps and what is the compensation, all those small aspects, let us think about it. So it has a swiftly carved into a niche skill set in the pharmaceutical industry. Means it is one of the important and small activity that happens in the pharmaceutical activity. So now it is realized by industry that if there are specialist writers, if there are very well qualified and very well written documents have been developed by some of the medical writers, is very important. And because it's always been communication been a challenge. Okay, so what is happened in the clinical research has to be communicated by a CSR. So that CSR should be written in such a way that it should be well structured, well written, and thereby the regulatory agency can understand what has happened. That is the reason, very important. The role is very important. And as and when we move ahead in the life, right? So there are more drugs coming in, more diseases are there, more medical devices are getting approved, then definitely this is the never-ending story, and medical writing will have a demand every time. So specifically that you remember that not only medical writer, skilled medical writers means you should have all the skills required. Skilled medical writers, there will always be a demand. So, for example, when I have conducted a first session, like this was the data I have presented based on some survey. The average payment for a medical writer was 8 lakh rupees in India, and approximate per hour, payment was 388 rupees. Okay, average in the sense from trainee to from VP, let us say something like that. Average was 8 lakhs per annum. The average salary range from 5,81,000 to 10,14,000 was based on the individuals involved in that survey. This was the salary range. And then on an average, the highest degree for this particular is doctorate degree was the medical writer. Okay. So this compensation details we have given based on some anonymous employees in India. This is what given in 2021. If you say almost 1.5 to 2 years, these numbers have grown to the great extent. If you say the same survey is, same survey which is conducted on 6th of January. Last updated was 6th of January. I have seen today morning, and then see that what is the value. The average payment earlier it was how much? 8 lakhs approximately. Now it is 12.25 lakhs per year, and per hour value was 388 that time, and now per hour value is 589. So 200 rupees has been increased per hour. It's a significant, in 2 years or 1.5 years, 2 hours per day, 200 rupees per day, per hour is a significant increase. And then average salary that time, for example, it was 5,81,000 to 10 lakhs. Now you can see 8.5 lakhs to 14.9, means approximately 15 lakhs is the salary. Very big chunk of people are receiving 15 lakhs salary. That is what the concept. So even I have given a link to this particular survey. You can see it. That the data updated is until yesterday or until day before yesterday. So that kind of level of information is available. So, and that is the demand, I should say. And another survey which is conducted in somewhere in 2022, it says that 5 lakh rupees is a basic salary, average base salary for a medical writer. So it's all depends upon the survey people who have been involved in that. But based on my experience, this is going to be an optimum approximate salaries. As a beginner or as a very minimal experience in the field, they would get this much. But for a bachelor degree, 1 lakh to 2 lakhs you can get. For a master degree as a beginner, you can get up to 4 lakhs, and doctorate is up to 8 lakhs. 5 to 8 lakhs is depending upon the company, depending upon your role, depending upon type of medical writing, what you are going to perform, depending upon the demand. So there will be a difference in the salary, but this is what the average salaries that anyone can get based on their educational qualification, expertise, communication skills, and domain understanding, aptitude of writing. All these parameters will be evaluated before you are offering the job. So that's about compensation related. After that, what are the challenges any medical writer can face? There are some challenges I have listed. Complexity of data. It's not easy, like all the source documents are given to you, and then it will be asked to interpret that information and write one paragraph. So it is not so easy. Complexity of data, you need to understand that. Scarcity of data, sometimes there is no data available, very minimal data available, and with that you have to justify things. And then huge data, otherwise the opposite extreme is huge data. There's a lot of data, so then you are confused what to do. So that is kind of thing. And interpretation of data is the biggest challenge. Interpretation, you don't know, you can read it, but you do not interpret what is happening here. So then that is the biggest challenge. That interpretation of data has to be learned properly. Presentation of data, that's also important. Once you understand the concept, how to present that is also a very good skill set. Copyright issues, plagiarism, you need to understand. I told you some legal aspects, maybe corporate issues or copyright issues or plagiarism. Those things you need to understand before you start as in medical writer. Definitely when you are joining as a beginner, all the companies have set of trainings to be given, and they will make you understand that what is copyright, what is plagiarism, what is this, what is that, what should be done, what should not be done. All those things will be given. And then target audience, you should know this document is written for whom, how we should write. So that is important. That's a challenge, because the adaptability comes in picture, and everybody cannot adapt so easily that I can make my document switch immediately. It is tough job. and updating the current regulations and technical aspect. You might know until what you are knowing. So because you are in colleges, you have enough time to read through, understand, and all those things. Once you become a medical writer, you will not have time to spend yourself to get the knowledge updated. For example, that new guidelines has been come up today, then that is on 30 pages. So when you will get a time, because you have to do your job and you have to get your knowledge updated. So that kind of, until unless you have the zeal of getting updated, you will not be able to do. So that is very important point. And without updating yourself, you will not be a good medical writer, and you will not be able to, face the work culture. So that is also important. Language constraints. Work on your language constraints. Otherwise, it is going to be a very big killer. You are not able to communicate properly, and somebody is expecting a past tense. You are writing in future tense. You are writing in present tense. That's not correct. So all things will come, and you don't know at least writing. All such things will become a biggest problem. Meeting the expectations. Meeting the expectation is a challenge when you don't understand what are the expectations. So understand the expectations and then try to meet those expectations. Coordinating with multiple stakeholders. It's not that you just write and then throw it. It's not possible. You have to talk to people. You have to get information, write it, get their agreement, get the approval, then go to the MOAD. So that is also one of the important. Communication. Keep the communication. Communication is a key activity which you have. For example, you are supposed to give a document today, but you are not able to give because of some reason. You have to communicate to the next level that I'm able to give. I was planning to give today, but because of this challenge, I will be giving in after 2 days. This communication. Otherwise, there will be a big message coming from that side that you are supposed to give, but you did not give. You did not meet the expectation. So those things, communication is key parameter, which anytime. So that is the reason I have listed these all as a challenges. And some of the measures what can help us to overcome these challenges, like domain knowledge. You should have a good knowledge and experience, to some experience on this particular aspect, when you'll get less challenges, and you can accept the challenge and then prove yourself. Proper planning. Any activity, you need to have a proper planning, so that and adapt to that planning, or then adhere to that planning. That helps. And then you should have patience. You should not be reacting to any communication. You should be responding to that you have to maintain that zeal. And then good interpretation and good communication skills. Work on that, how to interpret well, how to communicate well, and take a short courses if it is available. Or there are so many things available, nowadays. And then you see some videos how they are communicating. Watch, observe, how the interpretation works. So those things help you. Keep updating with your regulations on the technical aspects. Try to do some extra time during your weekends. Understand and make a practice that every day 15 minutes I spend with USFDA website, so that if there is anything new, I will understand, and then keep knowledge updated. You should have that interest, focus, aim. So then only you'll be able to do. So then understanding the scope of the work. Before you start, like for example, I asked you to write something, you just started writing. No, understand what is the scope of this activity, whom I'm writing, what should I write, what is the concept, so where is it going, who is the end user. So that way, if you understand the scope better, then you will be able to deliver much better document. Attention to detail. Hey, this is small thing, that is fine, I think we can manage. No, every small thing is very important. That attention to details. Like somebody, the people says that people with eagle eye, okay, they are there and they will identify your mistakes and they will tell you this is not correct, that is not correct. So that is their thought process, is to improve the document. Take that in a positive way and then upload. Or otherwise, don't give an opportunity for them. You have an attention to detail, so that they will not be able to find mistakes in your document. Knowing about audience is very important, because you have to adapt the situation. Teamwork. You need to know how to gel with the team, how to convince them, how to get the time from them, how to get the information from them. All people are not same. Like, all fingers in the hand are not same. So they have been different, and how to adapt ourselves, how to, customize our communication with them. All those things you need to learn. Those nothing but helps in teamwork. So just as a simple role of medical writer, what exactly he or she does, they'll gather the information, they'll organize the information, they'll present, interpret the information, evaluate information. So when you are doing all these different parameters, keep in your mind that you are doing it ethically. That is what very important role you have to play as a medical writer. So then, as I told you, right, cross-functional team meeting, cross-functional, this thing, you have to work as a team. So who are the different people you come across when you are working with the, when you are working as a medical writer? These are the different set of people whom you may coordinate with them. Not always, depending upon the type of document, depending upon the type of project you might have discussed with this person, like maybe a regulatory expert, labeling expert, medical contributor, safety lead, reviewers, definitely, statistician, toxicologist, PK specialist, ethics committee people, study investigator. So these are the different people you will have a coordination with, and then you need to know, each one's role, each one's contribution to make yourself easy. So that is the reason I just wanted to give you a whole a set of information so that you would know. There are so many other people, but I'm not putting it here because they are very minimally. You would interact with them probably, like these are the set of people, they are majorly involved in your day-to-day life. And a small snapshot on drug development process, because I have spoken that in the definition that each and every step of the drug development where medical writing is required. See, for example, basic research we say, and then early discovery, preclinical step, and then clinical step, FDA review, and post-marketing. These are the different major steps in the drug development process, and each step will be ending with a document, each step ending with a writing process, each step ending with the approval stage. So that is nothing but medical writing importance. So every time you would write, every time you would get approval to move ahead to the next level. So that is the reason medical writer plays a very important role in the drug development process. And then I also spoke about something like common technical document. Recently, what I can say, recently in the sense almost 20 years back, each country has their own requirements, their own different. For example, as a sponsor, as a manufacturer, I was supposed to face all the problems, create the documents a number of times because I wanted to register my product in Japan, I want to register my product in US FDA, I want to register in my product in Europe, I want to register my product in Australia, XYZ. So every time I have to prepare a dossier separately based on their guidelines. So it was very tiresome job and it was very redundant job that anybody was doing it. So that is the reason there was one ICH meeting that has happened, and wherein some important regulatory agencies like EMA, US FDA, Japan, MHLW all came together and they started developing the one set of documents that is required to get registered in these three countries. That was the initiation taken by all the three countries. Those were also called as ICH countries. And then they created a concept called as common technical document. Means almost out of 5 modules, there are 5 modules in this. Out of 5 modules, 4 modules will be common for all these 3 countries, and 1 module is different because those are country specific, region specific documents. Only the model 1 will be different, but rest of the modules will be common. So that is called as a concept of common technical document. Earlier it was done for only 3 countries. Later, in the span of 20 years, now everybody is accepting the common technical document. So that is what, maybe understand a little bit more about this. So that will help you as a medical writer. And then there is another, question like what you can say. Is there any freelance medical writing opportunities? Yes, there are multiple or plenty of freelancing medical writing opportunities, depending upon your capabilities, depending upon your skill sets. But one who is interested, there are even sites also for getting the work done. Even you can register as a freelance medical writer, and then you will get a work and based on your skill set. So that is also there. And some of the companies also training the freshers for a medical writing job, and they are utilizing your this thing as and when they require, as and when there is a scope for work. So that kind of things also there, but you have to find out, you have to put some efforts to get this kind of things. If there are any questions around it, we can answer those. Then last and final take home message I would like to give you is medical writing is one of the activity which has always been growing, dynamic, positive, rewarding, lucrative, and as an esteemed profession. So and this particular person who wanted to develop himself or herself as a medical writer should have all different sets of skills like domain knowledge, language, and then research skills, analytical, ethical, personal, managerial, writing skills. Only mantra to become a good writer is read more to write better. This is what I followed, and this has helped me. So that way, you can take this message home. Beyond that, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. And thank you for your patience listening.
Thank you so much, Raghu. Thank you. That was such a wonderful, session from you. And every time I listen to you, I get a lot of new perspectives on medical writing.
Okay.
Despite being in this domain for such a long time, we still keep learning from your talks. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj.
Participants, thank you for patiently listening. Now, one way to interact with Raghu is to, raise your virtual hand on Zoom and talk, ask your specific question directly. That's number one way. The number two way is you can also put your question on the chat box. This is only for all those, pharmacy people who do not want to ask and who do not have, some kind of shyness asking the questions. I know a lot of you will have this, right? So just in case you have this issue, then you can put in the chat box. I'll read out the question for you. And just in case you want to raise virtual hand on Zoom, please do that. I'll unmute and then you can talk. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, perfect. So Nagratna, yes, you can unmute. And
yeah, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Manoj, sir.
Good afternoon.
My question is related to the professional growth, sir. As you said, medical writing is something called dynamic environment. I really love that sentence because I want to keep on update myself. I don't want to sit quietly. So how will this medical writing help me to go with my higher degree? Because I want to be expertised in one particular domain. So how will this medical writing help me to achieve this?
See, for example, if you want to grow as a expertise in that, in one particular domain, first you have to goal your educational qualifications. See, for example, if you, I think, can I know what are you studying now? Hello?
Nagratna, you can unmute and talk.
Yes, sir, I'm a PharmD intern.
Okay, PharmD. I think it's great. PharmD is, we considered it as an equivalent to doctorate at this point of time. Yeah. Definitely, so what kind of job, like for example, let me take one example. If you want to shine in, cardiovascular system and the drugs related to cardiovascular, so you have to focus yourself on, like the pharmacology, pathology, everything related to that particular domain, and you should be very conceptually clear, and as well as you know much better than anybody to say yourself as an expert first, and then you can choose a job wherein you are an qualified and expert medical writer in that particular domain. For example, there are pharma companies who are mostly focusing their research on the cardiovascular drug development. So maybe you can choose like that. And there are some companies, their main focus is on central nervous system drug domain. So there are some companies, they are mainly working on a particular domain. So that kind of companies, if you join as a medical writer, they definitely will have better opportunities to learn more on your this thing. First thing is, at your educational level, your conceptual understanding level should be proper. Then you will get an opportunity to go to such kind of companies, and you have to identify, do your due diligence to join that company, and then you will have an opportunities to learn and grow as a individual with that expertise. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Clear. And I have one more question too. How will you rate the personal and professional growth in medical writing and clinical research on a scale of 0 to 10, sir? Consider both as different domains, and
yeah,
because most of them are really stuck in these two fields, sir, including
you are asking the wrong person, Nagaratna. If you ask Raghuram or me, we'll rate 9 or 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we'll be biased to our profession, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are in the same domain, so we'll obviously rate it as high as possible.
Yeah. At least Dharampal was genuine enough to say 9. I would have never said that. I will say 10 only.
So you are asking the wrong people.
Yeah, I got, sir. I got.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll add a statement here. See, I told you in the beginning when I explained my self story, I have not been opted medical writer. By chance, I became a medical writer, right? But I started loving my job once I move ahead in my career, and then become something today. So it all depends on how do you take. Sometimes with this kind of job and with this kind of role, you would even not even know that you have a personal life. Okay, so that is the reason. Like mostly when you have interest in something, when you have some goal, when you have some zeal to achieve, definitely you will go more towards professional life than a personal life. Okay, so it was not required for me to be part of this session today if I would have thought of only personal aspect, isn't it, Manoj? So
Absolutely.
it is like this. You want to grow, that is one thing, and you want to let others grow, there is other thing. Because when you have a knowledge to some set of information with you, it's not, I don't say that I'm an expert or I'm excellent in this or something. I learned few things, that is what I would say, because learning never ends. Learning is always been there throughout the life. So I know few things. Probably I want to share those things to people who really want or who really interested to learn those things. That way, if I put it across, professional growth is always been there in every minute. It is up to you how you would like to take it. And I will tell you, Nagaratna, one more point. If you see in India, just I gave the link in this PPT. That link says 70% of medical writers are women.
Yeah.
Okay, only 30% are men race, men gender. So you can understand that how comfortable is this job. Okay, one way. But and another way is how tiresome is this job. Okay, so because generally women are tend to be a
Taskers.
multitaskers when compared to men, right? So there are different ways, how we can look at each perspective. So if you ask me, I'll rate 10 myself.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. I got an answer to my question, and thank you for allowing me to speak, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
problem.
Nagratna. Thank you, Raghu. And thank you. So next is Dr. Salila, and after that we'll give a chance to DP. The DP will want to add something. Okay.
Absolutely. I'm happy to hear from him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Salila, you can go on.
Hello, sir. It was really a great session. It's something like it's an introduction for people who really don't know anything about medical writing. Actually, I'm a dentist. I would like to introduce myself. I'm a dentist with masters in oral cancer. Actually, as you said, for ladies, it's more medical writing is more of a actually, I should say it's a boon, because I've been in abroad since 6 years and I did not find any other opportunity other than medical writing, which I found it after like 5 years. But I tried hard to get a medical writing opportunity in corporate offices first, like Indigene and all sort of offices initially, because my juniors and my colleagues were actually working there when I went to India last year. Unfortunately, I did not get any position there. Slowly, when I started exploring through LinkedIn, I got a position in TNQ Technologies, where I'm working as a medical writer, but it is for CMU writing. Frankly speaking, I really don't have any knowledge about that, sir, but I have been working there. I'm learning and working, actually. They do not have any training also there. They were very frank initially, saying that you have to learn. It's a self-paced learning. You have to learn, you have to work. That's how it is. So I'm just learning the CMU writing. I really don't get any information anywhere about this. I've been asking like in several webinars about this. I'm asking the same question to you also. I would like to know more about the CME writing, sir, because I'm just a beginner. Though I'm working since 1 year, I'm still learning. It's very fresh for me. So I would like to know more about CME writing. And I also had a doubt, like what is that medico marketing is, which they were not accepting the dentists into it. I mean, I do have my friends and other people in that, but I did not get an opportunity to get into it. So I also wanted to know, if I get into the CME writing, will I have an opportunity to again go back to that medico marketing, or is this a better future? Or I'm just shuffling between these two things, sir.
Okay.
Excellent question, Dr. Salila. Raghu will answer first, then DP, and then Dharmpal, and then I'll also give my feedback on this.
Oh, thank you so
Go
much.
on. Raghu, go on. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Salila. I mean, I think, any fresher or any new person who joins any career, right, they will have to self-learn. That you have to keep it. There may be, different set of, learnings in different organizations, that I agree. Some of them will have a focused learning. Some of them will very organized, training plans and training, programs, everything. And in some cases, there won't be anything, but you have to find and learn. So there are three sets of it. One is fully organized, fully ready-made. You just go through, complete it, and then you get trained on it. Second thing is somewhere 50-50. You have to learn something, and some minimal organization is there, and then you learn from that. And where in third set, where nothing is there, you have to find yourself a material or a concept or something like that and learn it. So these are the three different scenarios. Maybe if I understand correctly, you are in the third level of learning mode or something like that. But that's fine. Absolutely, you whole world is in front of you now, so you can find out a lot of information as in continued medical education related thing in the websites and in the Google or something like that. You can find out. First of all, my suggestion is, you be in a dentist, and you will definitely understand, interpret information very well on the scientific perspective. That might not be a challenge for you. Only thing is, continued medical education is always been for different audiences, right? So continued medical education is not only for the patients, right? Continued medical education is for professionals as well, like, dentist or prescriber or a nurse or any other pharmacist, whoever. This is nothing but on the new concepts that comes in for a particular domain or particular therapeutic area. So you need to understand what kind of concept it is. As a first, continued medical education means what, that you understand, and where it is required, in what scenarios it is required, and then how it is developed. For example, new molecule has come, and just give a mechanism of action, prepare a mechanism of action and give it to everybody. They will not understand. It is not required for them as well. So what information has to be given in a continued medical education documents related to that? So that you need to understand what is the background or what is the framework of the CME documents. That if you understand, I think even if your source document gives enormous information for you, but what is required for continued medical education documents to be proposed or to be given in that. That way, if you understand, right, I think it becomes very easy for you. You should plan a structured way of learning. So that structured way of learning, as you do not have at this point of time, you have to create your own, and then you do it. But there are multiple things. Before that, what I suggest is you read 10 CMA documents available as an examples or as an artifacts for you. You will understand what is the approach they have followed. So then more or less you create some approach for you, a customized approach for you, and then start working on it. Probably in a quarter or 2 quarter time frame, means 3 to 6 months time frame, you will definitely be able to learn something on that. It is not an overnight journey. It's not going to be possible like, today you have some concept, tomorrow I will be able to do it. That may not be possible. You have to try, learn, and then implement that in your writing, so that it will take around 6 months time frame, so that it will be a good fit for that particular thing. That's what I'm saying. And the second question related to your dentists, are not being able to given an opportunity as a, medical marketing, nothing like that. If you know the concept, even a science graduate or a basic science graduate who knows the concepts and who can deliver the medical marketing. And I have seen many people who have come from pharma, dentists, medical professionals, even basic science, biomedical sciences people have been, worked as in medical marketing writers. And even I was part of one of the company for a couple of years as a medical marketing writer, as a content specialist. So definitely the opportunities are wide open. Only thing you have to prove yourself to get that opportunity. I think with this answer, I will leave it to the next person. Dharmpal, you can add if anything you want.
Yes, sir,
Thanks.
thank you, sir. I also, sorry, sir. I also want to know like any source, because I've been asking in every webinar about the source only. The work which I do right now sounds more like they say it's a medical writer for CME writing, but it is more of I write summary from the audios. It definitely needs some kind of research online and some references and all, but it's more of a transcript kind of work. Is it the same that I'm only worried, like, is it really the same everywhere? CME writing does mean the same thing.
Saidila, I just want to, thanks for your question. I just want to add to what Raghuram just now told you. So first thing is, as the name indicates, continuing medical education. So you will be continuously educating yourself about the medicine or the medical writing. Okay. So there is no written script like this is the way you have to write. It's always, it's booming and it's emerging. Okay. It does not have any definite style like how we have for publication, introduction, methodology, results and discussion, or any regulated document which says it should be like this. It's depending on a medical writer and the company, how well they want to do this. Second, continuous medical education in simple terms, I'll tell you. See, if you take how for continuous medical education, you need to be updated about that particular therapeutic area or disease or drug. Okay, so understand today you're doing a continuous, you're working on a continuous medical education project on a specific drug or a disease. So understand, first thing for a continuous medical education required is, suppose you're working on a disease or a drug. What are the drugs available for this disease? Or an health authority or a guideline from a country says, what is the first line drug? What is the second line drug for this particular disease condition? So you should understand the guidelines for the treatment. Then half of your problem is solved. We have a lot of guidelines saying this is the guideline for say communicable disease, say, or an oncology for this particular, for a breast cancer. What is the guideline for, say, America? US has a separate guideline for the treatment of breast cancer, whereas EMA has a separate guideline. Your WHO has a separate guideline, and most of them will sync each other. Okay, so if you understand the guideline, you will understand what kind of approach is required for the continuous medical education papers. If you see in continuous medical education, your approach will be like, what is the disease about? What were the drugs which were available 10 years back or say a couple of years back? And what is the current challenge which the industry is facing? Then what are the possible or the available options as of now? And where is the gap in the treatment options? So if you understand these, then answer will come automatically based on your streamlined search. Am I able to clear your doubts, or am I complicating it?
Sarila, you can unmute and...
Sorry for the delay, sir. Actually, I just have my son. He's disturbing in between, so I'm muting again and again. Sorry. Sir, thank you very much. It was very clear. The only thing is, after listening to you, I think I'm in a little bit wrong jog. I'm not really sure. The one which I'm working may not be the same which you're telling me.
I was about to tell you the same thing. Yeah, Dr. Salila, just to add on what Raghu and Dharmpal said, both of, all three of us have worked together in the similar organization for a long time. Now, first thing is, you are already an expert in oncology. You know the subject that normally, most of us do not like, right? So oncology, most of the medical writers will not like. I personally do not like oncology, writing oncology projects. So first of all, congratulations on that, because you are already on the edge, as an expert. That's the first thing. Second thing is, as far as the CME is concerned, right? So every CME will have a new challenge when you're creating the content. And the best way to create a masterpiece of a CME content is to speak to your target audience. So let's say if you're, working on a slide deck for oncologist, First of all, you talk to him or her and ask exactly what he or she wants, because they'll have a different expectation of what the content should actually look like. And if you are doing your own research and creating a content, there is no end to it, right? Because you feel everything is important for the slide deck, but the when the presenter or as a doctor, when he or she wants that CME slide deck, his expectation will be totally on a different line, right? So for example, I worked on some antibiotics related stuff recently, and when I got the brief from my client, which is a pharmaceutical company, they had given a different level of brief for creating the slide deck. But when I talked to the doctor who was about to present the slide deck, he gave me a different brief altogether. And when I created that content as per his requirement, he really liked it. Okay, and this is the best way you should do, actually. That's the first thing when you're working on the CME part. It's always a continuous learning process, and you should always go with the high-end, most prescribed journals for creating the content. Now, coming to your second question, whether you are in the wrong place or the right place. Now, if you like medical marketing as a topic, then I think you should actually try medical marketing or patient education content in oncology. There is a huge demand for these two aspects. So do try that.
So what is this patient education content in oncology?
Yeah, so oncology, as you know, cancer is a growing disease, and everywhere there are a lot of patients suffering from cancer, right? So all these hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, and everyone is trying to create medical content for patients, educating the patients, right, in different languages on different levels. So that is when they need experts who can create this high-end information into a plain language summary for the patients. You'll be writing converting that complex information specifically for patients. So if you like that, and since you are already an expert, so converting that content will definitely not be a problem for you, and it will definitely not be a challenge for you. So why don't you just give a try creating 1 or 2 patient information content and see how it works for you. Maybe you can also write a few blogs on this topic, and this will kind of create a repository of your own portfolio that you can showcase to another client and get more freelance work.
Yeah, only because I get to meet, I mean, I'm into these webinars and I'm getting information, or else I really don't have any information. Thank you so much, three of you, for this.
Just to add on, Sailila, one more important source is improve your network on CME writers.
Absolutely.
And to find that LinkedIn is the best resource.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Get connected with them, understand. That becomes a better source for you to overcome your whatever immediate problems.
Absolutely.
Okay, sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
And if you want to know how to use LinkedIn for healthcare professionals, check out 3-4 videos that I had done on my channel.
Yes, I have seen. Yes.
That'll definitely help.
Another point is, if you want to get more insights on this, is you can find out if anybody is giving a course or short course for this kind of things. Maybe don't go for a smaller ones, like some of the good universities, Harvard University or something, even if it is for a 1-week course, I think even if you spend few dollars, I think it would be great enough, because they would cover wide variety of information, and they will also give you a structured information for you to or take it as a career or something like that. Maybe try out. I'm not sure that they will offer a CME, but in Harvard Medical University, if you see, there are a lot of online courses they have been giving it for. Maybe these courses starts from 2 weeks to 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. So maybe as you are an a freelance writer, you will have enough time sometimes, and then you can take out those videos and then see how they are doing it, what they are doing it. Probably that course would help you to. Rather than if you are unsystematically searching in Google and getting some information, I think the spending time on that would not be helpful, because maybe you would have done that, you have not been very productive with that. So considering that, you can go with a systematic approach. That helps you probably.
But before doing that, just ensure that you want to stick to this field, or once you have that firm decision, then you can do all this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So better do SWOT analysis, Dr. Sailila. I think that will help you a lot.
Yes.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you.
Manoj,
Perfect.
can I take 5-6 minutes? I have 5-6 points to cover.
Yeah, I want you to take that. That's the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are
Thank
not
you.
taking any more questions. There are a couple of questions I'll read out later on after you're done.
Okay.
And thank you, Dr. Sailila. Thank you, Raghu. And thank you, DP, for adding a lot of values to all those two questions. We want to take some perspectives from Dharmpal now. Dharmpal, before you give a perspective, first tell us something about your story journey as to how you started in medical writing and then
Okay.
pharmacovigilance and then so many things. And then give us those pointers. Yeah, perfect. Go on. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Manoj. So just as Manoj requested, I just want to tell you about myself very quickly in few sentences. I'm basically a pharmacist, pharmacology in specialization. After that, after my MPharm, I started my medical writing career, now with 17 plus years of experience in medical writing. So my journey was into regulatory, then it became medical marketing, followed by uh, PV, pharmacovigilance, and now again in medical writing. So it's revolving around clinical research throughout my career, and I always enjoyed it. So I just had to add a few perspectives on medical writing. Just before I start, Manoj, I just want to understand what is the audience here, like they are freshers, they're already experienced medical
Some
writers.
of them, see, we have a few people, few participants watching on YouTube. They are all experienced. They have watched a lot of videos on medical writing. They've come there.
Okay.
And in Zoom, we have a couple of freshers, and some of them are experienced. Some of them are freelancers as well. So it's a mixed audience, basically. We have a mixed audience from pharmacy, dentistry, and medicine.
Okay, thanks, Manoj. So this my first point is for freshers. See, the first thing for a medical writer, as a human tendency is that once we have done our graduation or post-graduation, whatever highest level of degree, once we are in industry, first thing is we stop reading, we stop learning. Yeah. So if you are in that mode, either you have to come out of that mode or you don't join medical writing.
Absolutely.
Because for a medical writer, reading and writing should be a continuous process. It should be a habit. It should be inculcated in yourself that you read every day and you write every day. Only then you can become a medical writer. Because as humans, we feel that once I've done all these years, I've read, now I don't want to read and just work, earn money. That is not possible in medical writing. And for experienced people, I just want to say that continue your reading habit in different ways, like split your day into a few slots and ensure that Health Authority website is one of the important sites, I believe, to upgrade ourselves, to keep ourselves to the to-date research in terms of disease and drug. Every day we should spend 15 minutes for US FDA website and 15 minutes for EMA website, which gives maximum what is happening in the what's latest happening in the research in specific disease and drugs. So please make a habit of continuing that. If not, ensure that from Jan 23 you inculcate it on an everyday basis. Then second, one important aspect what I want to say as medical writers, although we are not doing any research, we are not involved in R&D, whatever best R&D and research is done, we are the ones who are representing it to the public or the audience, right? So we are the ones who, I believe that we are the ones who decide the fate of the drug or the disease or the patient. If we write, if we communicate the research done properly, then a good drug can come out and it can reach a needy patient. If a good research has been done and we have not written the data or we are not communicating the data correctly, a good drug can go waste and it may not reach the needy patient. So that is the impact what we can create as medical writers. I believe most of the medical writers agree to this. Second, next point is presence of mind, because we as medical writers, we think we are medical writers, we should communicate in medical terminologies or medical jargons. No, that is not the intent. First, understand who is our audience, who is going to read or review our document. If it is a regulated document, always use the medical terminologies. If it is a patient document, lay terminology or lay language is always preferred. If it is a publication, it is a healthcare fraternity who will be reading, so your medical knowledge is important. So understand who will be the reader. Based on that, you should be able to change your mind in writing the style in which you write. Next is medical writing profession is very diverse. As initially Raghuram in his 1 or 2 slides, he mentioned that medical writing, regulator writing, non-clinical writing, safety writing. See, it is very diverse. Every kind of writing requires us to mold ourselves into a different, into a different writer. All the writing is not same. We need a different approach for different writing. So we should be open enough to ensure that it is the same knowledge, it is the same kind of document. Only thing is the way we write is different.
Absolutely.
So we should be open for that. So these are some of the points which I wanted to cover. First thing is, if you are, just because Raghuram mentioned that the salary wise, it is very good, and the salary, what it shows, the numbers, what it shows is exuberant. So just for that, don't join. Once you join, and if you're not interested, then every day will be a, hell for you. Provided you follow all the other aspects, what are the requirements, basic requirements which are required for a medical writer, only then you enter this field, is what is my suggestion. Yes, Manoj, thanks for this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, DP, for giving a complete summary of this webinar, after Raghuram gave the entire A to Z version 2. So thank you so much. And that were definitely golden nuggets for most of us. Thank you. So anyways, yes, Raghu, final notes from you. We'll not be taking any more questions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead. I mean, I think if they have questions, it's fine. We'll address it.
Okay.
1 or 2 questions can be addressed.
1 or 2 you want to take? Perfect. So first thing is, there are a few questions on how to connect with both of you and all of that. So all of you who are registered on Zoom, you'll be getting an email from me with Zoom, LinkedIn profile link of Dharampal and Raghuram. So that's the easiest way to connect. And my LinkedIn profile link is also available. You can search and then you can connect, no problem. That's the first thing. Recording of the entire session will be made available to you. You'll receive an email. You can search and then you can find that. Keep learning from there. Make notes. If you want to discuss anything specific on medical writing and pharmacovigilance from the Dharampal, then you can connect with him. Please do not discuss any other topics. It becomes a little cumbersome because time management is a major problem. All of us are struggling with those 24 hours, right? So some questions, are there from YouTube. This is for both of you. What are some common books or generic books that you would suggest for medical writers? Are there any?
I don't prefer any books, Manoj. If you want to become a scientific writer or a publication writer, read through the publications which are available online. You can understand different styles of writing, different ways of providing the same data. So that is the best thing. If you want to do some medical marketing, read on Google, you will get that as well. So I don't think any book it's not a college syllabus or something like that. As I said, medical writing is too diversified. It depends on how well you want to present it. But one thing is for sure, as a medical writer, don't keep on writing. Our best approach is, we should see if I write one, I'll give you one example. If I'm writing one publication, so the publication will be read by thousands of people in future. So my main intent should be to communicate the information crisply, but in clear way. Don't keep on writing the same data in pages, just for the reason that I'm a good writer. I cannot keep on writing the same topic in different ways. So the communication should be made clear and crisp. If you know how to do that, then anything you can write.
So I second with Dharampal that for the medical writing perspective, I do not recommend or see any special books which are required to be read. And if you have some constraints with language, definitely there are books to read. Okay, on this not on the scientific concept or the presentation, but maybe if you want to learn language better, you need to have a word knowledge, World Bank, something when word related or English language related concepts to be improved. Then I think there are set of books which you can get it. But for a medical writing, as you said, Dharampal, like I think the publications, agency guidelines, and any other agency web pages or information that definitely helps you rather than reading books, because we know now, right? Like a book is easy to carry than a laptop. I mean earlier, but now it is not like that. You do not need to have a laptop. If you have an Android phone, it is even much more comfortable than a book. So I think that logistical perspective also we have a better advantage rather than watching some other video or teasers of movies. Spend, I mean, I do not. I mean, against spending time on those things. Definitely, you can spend some time on teasers and all, but segregate your time. Give some time to your medical writing capability improvement, and then understanding the knowledge, updating yourself. Probably, you can give some time, and then definitely you'll be able to achieve that. I think there are no specific books required to be read.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For regulatory writing, I think you don't need any external books for it. Every health authority website, every document has its own guidelines and template. The template gives you the structure or template, and your guideline gives you what should go, what information should go in that particular section, and in that particular section also what exact information is required is also mentioned. So if you go through and understand the guideline thoroughly, I don't think you need any book.
Yeah, absolutely. In most cases, there are templates these days, for all kind of writing. Even for CMEs, companies give us templates many a times. But specific to medico marketing, my suggestion would be to search for samples. There are samples available on Google also. You may ask the clients also to give the competitor samples. You can also get most of the samples from the marketing representatives. So make friendship relationship with the medical representatives to get the samples of the different kinds of writings the pharmaceuticals companies do. And that is where you can get a lot of ideas about medical marketing writing. So thank you, DP and Raghuram, for answering that. One question we have from Akhil. What are the things considered while applying for medical writer's position?
So mostly I have covered all the skill set,
Yes.
what you should have it. I mean, it is not that just a qualification would suffice to, crack any of the medical writing openings or any specific openings. Nowadays, communication is key. That is important. Work on your communication, work on your presentation, and medical writing jobs mostly associated with checking your writing skills. Maybe, once you have a oral discussion, and if you are able to answer questions and crack the first level of interview, second level of interview will be writing stuff. They would give you some set of questions or set of what I can say, set of scenarios, and how would you answer, and what are the parameters you present there, mention it. For example, if I give you an article, one article published recently, and then you would have never seen that, and I would ask you to write an abstract within 250 to 300 words, and then how concise you are, and what are the different parameters you cover within 250 to 300 words, and then what actually the abstract should have. Those things, if you mastered it, then I think it will be good. Maybe best suggestion for you is you take 4 articles, don't look at their abstracts earlier, and then start writing the abstract your own, and then compare your abstract with the abstract published. Probably give you some thought process. Maybe first abstract, second abstract you would not do good, third abstract, fourth abstract you would be doing better. That way you try once. Okay. And other point is, if you want become a CSR writer or a scientific writer or something like that way you have to customize your understanding, learning before you go to that particular job. That really helps you. For example, if you want to write a CSR or something like that, look at the ICH guidelines applicable for CSR and protocol writing. What are the different sections available, and what information goes where, and then what are the different prerequisites for writing this document. For example, if you want to write a CSR, you need to have a protocol, you need to have an IB, you need to have an TLFs that we call test tables, listings, and figures. So, understand those terminologies. You might be knowing that source documents are required. So, for example, if you go for an medical writer interview, what are the different source documents required? It will not be asked that you will know source document. I mean, you need source document that everybody is aware. What are those source documents? Understand that. And then sometimes it is given as an abbreviated forms. TLFs is a best accepted abbreviation in any medical writing code. But maybe as a fresher, you might not know what is TLFs. So those things you try to understand and then prepare yourself complex terminologies related to that work and guidelines related to that. What are the different sections of the CSR? Even some of the example CSRs are available in Google. Go through that, how they have represented the data. So maybe that helps you. So probably, you first of all understand what is the job description and what is the expectation of that particular role, and then prepare yourself. That helps you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just want to look this question in different way. I think Akhil's question is things to be considered while applying to the medical writer job. So first thing is, easiest way I'll tell you, look into company websites. You will see medical writer, this is the job or this is the opening available. Under this, they'll provide you the job description. Under job description, what are the medical writing terminologies they're using? If you have it in your CV, or if you have used it in your CV, then you apply it. Otherwise, in simple, because in companies, nobody will be having patience to check your CV in detail, whether you have the required knowledge, required skill set. So they'll just put the important points or the key terminologies which are required. And if your CV is having that, they'll pull yours. So first thing is, best way is go through company websites, medical writing jobs. In the medical writing jobs, what are the jobs available? If it is, and again, here it mentions the person should have domain knowledge, whether cardiovascular or therapeutic area or onco therapeutic area. Based on that, you can understand whether you have that therapeutic area knowledge or no. If you don't know, learn and apply. If you know, please put it in your CV and apply. Second, with this, you'll also understand what kind of writing experience they're expecting. Go through, Google it, and understand what kind of that document should have, what kind of presentation and what is the skills required. That's the way of applying to the medical writer job if you're a fresher.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So thank you, DP and Raghu, for giving all the thoughts and knowledge to all of us today. Thank you so much. There are a few questions, but maybe we'll not take, given the paucity of time. We want all of you to enjoy the day, the remaining day. Have a wonderful weekend. And we'll meet again next week for some more learning. So do join us next week again, same time, same channel, of course. 2 o'clock remains as a learning time for all of us. We'll meet again. And thank you so much, Raghu, Dharmpal, for your time. And, Raghu and Dharmpal have been always supportive for all these initiatives and helping all of us learn a lot from you, from your experience.
You are our inspiration here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I thank all the participants, for giving us so much of their time and asking us questions so that we can also learn from your questions and responses. And this really helps us and motivates us to keep doing more of these sessions. Yeah. And if you have any specific suggestions or speakers you want to suggest, please do send an email to me. If you have my email ID, I'm sure you'll have. Otherwise, you can also fill in the feedback form and let us know so that we keep organizing more of these sessions. So this year I'll be focusing more on medical writing. There are a lot of queries on medical writing. So we want to focus more on medical writing, different types of medical writing. Regulatory writing, of course, there is another upcoming domain in India. More focus is being given to that. So we'll focus more on these areas. If you want any specific speakers, please do let us know. And of course, Dharmpal and Raghu will always be there to support me, I'm sure. So with this note, thank you so much. I wish you all a wonderful weekend ahead. Manoj. And we'll meet again next week again. Thank you so much.
Manoj, one last point.
Please do that. Thank you. Thank you.
So as medical writers, I think I see we will not talk. problem is we should ask right questions before jumping into the project. As
Yeah.
medical writers, it doesn't mean that we should keep on writing. Before writing, we should ask right questions. What is the expectation from the outcome? So once we understand the expectation, then it becomes easy to align ourselves and our thought process can sync to the outcome. So
Yeah.
ask right questions and then start working.
Absolutely. Ask why. That's the first thing we should do. Simply ask why you are doing this, for what purpose, who is the target audience, are you doing it right? The moment you start asking why, most of the answers start coming in on your own, right? And you are the best person to judge your writing, and you should not depend on others for that. And by asking the right question to yourself, probably you'll get most of the answers. And the brain also remains curious, because when you are asking question, it will start searching for the information. The moment we give a deadlock to the brain, it stop searching for the question's answer, and then we feel, okay, that's the end of the world, right? So here is a feedback link I have given in the chat box. So please spend few minutes, and maybe just 1 minute, and give us the feedback. And definitely it will help us a lot, help me a lot to create this kind of sessions in future. And definitely thank you so much, Raghu and Dharmpal, for your time. And I'll definitely want you for the upcoming session. I'll talk to you later after this session, and we'll plan one more session very soon. Yeah, thank you.
Sure,
Sure,
Manoj.
Manoj. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
to you for organizing such sessions. It
My
is
pleasure. My
definitely
pleasure.
useful for the young generation and the profession, especially the pharmacy professionals.
Definitely. Many people are able to, many students specifically, they're able to choose medical writing as a career through these sessions. I get a lot of messages from them. A lot of LinkedIn requests, they start coming in. I'm sure you'll also start getting now once I send an email to all these people. So a lot of people have chosen medical writing through these sessions, and really it is kind of encouraging for us that through this channel, through this information, we are able to create and shape the career path of many pharmacy and healthcare professionals. So that is like an amazing experience. It gives me so much of motivation to keep doing more of these sessions every time. Yeah, so thank you so much, and keep learning and keep growing is what I say all the time. And learning never ends. So learning actually starts from here. So I hope we get a lot of learning motivational points to start our learning process. So keep writing, keep learning, and keep exploring the world of medical writing. So with the short note, we come to the end of today's session. We have spent good 2 hours time today learning. Every time it happens with Dharmpal and Raghu. We plan for 1 hour, but it goes minimum 2 hours, 2 hours, 15 minutes easily. And this, so much of interaction happens with your sessions, so much of queries we get, and I'm sure a lot of answers we give to people. And I'm sure many people who watch the videos later on, they'll have the same questions in mind, and through these questions they also get their answers. So thank you so much, Raghu and Dharmpal, for your time, and thank you so much everyone for your time as well. I wish you all a wonderful weekend ahead. Enjoy your time, and let's meet again very soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj. Thank you, Manoj.
all.
Thank you,
Bye.
Dharmpal. I
Thanks for
think
coming.
it is great indeed to spend 2 hours with all the qualified, new budding pharmacists or medical writers. Probably if they, plan to make their careers. And then I really thank both of you for spending time on weekend. And Manoj, thank you additionally you, because you are the master of this particular series of webinars, or whatever we discuss, or we give insights. I think all your efforts really useful one day for set of the people, and they will definitely utilize in right way, and then you will be able to make their lives better. That is the overall noble cause, and I really appreciate your time and efforts and then setting it up. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. This is the 255th webinar after the pandemic. This is the 255th.
Webinar, yeah. I think it's great. It's great, I don't know, out of 255th, like at least I have 3. That is great. I mean,
great. Absolutely.
I'm really not able to, make it like every month or something, but I would be happy to, take up such sessions on the topics wherever I'm able to, cover some information. As I already told that I may not be mastered everything, but whatever I know, I would be happy to share that information. Thank you so much. Thank you,
We just
Dharma.
keep learning. We just
Yeah.
keep learning, Raghu. There is no end to it. That is for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dharpal, for making it more insightful with your experience and with your, pointers that really helped everyone who participated in this seminar. Thank you so much.
We
Thank
all
you.
learn
Thank you
together
so much.
and we'll learn together.
We'll do that. Yes, definitely. It's 23 years of togetherness. Definitely, we'll do that. Yeah. So thank you so much. Enjoy your time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.